We think we're waiting for the Lord, but really, the Lord is waiting for us. Hi, this is Father Patrick, and greetings to all of you. So, we're about 11 days out from Christmas, and for most of us, we've been preparing during this Advent season, waiting for the birth of Jesus Christ into our lives. And this period of waiting is what Advent is about. It's about that time of preparation, maybe going back to the reconciliation, maybe looking at our prayer life. Again, that sense of waiting for the Lord and waiting on his, not only his birth as we celebrate at Christmas, but also his second coming, his return to us when he'll come and judge the living and the dead. And last week we had a revival night at St. Timothy, and we had this gentleman, a very powerful speaker by the name of Francis Cabildo, and he talked about that waiting that we have, and I've always just kind of assumed that we were waiting on the Lord to come, but he brought up something that was very interesting and something that I didn't think about in my own life, in my own conversion experience. Some of you who know my story is there was a point in my life where I wanted God back in my life. I had been kind of far away from the church and not really going to mass or really doing anything. And I kind of decided that this is time, I need to come back. And so I prayed for that relationship with God. And, I thought that would be something that would happen like immediately, but, it didn't happen immediately. And, but God gave me the grace to pray, to continue praying and asking God and be able to sense his presence to know that, there was something there. And I just prayed and I prayed and I prayed and I felt nothing. I mean, I would go to church and sit there and I feel nothing. And after about a year of praying and being really, intentional about asking God for a relationship, I was on a retreat and it happened. And I had this really beautiful encounter with God. And I always wondered, Lord, why did you make me wait? Why did I have to wait a year before you answered what I thought was a really beautiful prayer? But what I didn't understand and what I didn't see is if God would have answered that prayer for me immediately, there was nobody in my circle of friends who would have encouraged that relationship with God. They would have made fun of me. They would have told me I was crazy. What are you doing going to church? Or are you holier than thou? What I didn't see over the year is that God took people out of my life and put new people into my life. And so when I had that conversion experience, I had all these people around me who were willing to support and encourage that relationship. So God made me wait, but he made me wait for a reason. And it really was beautiful to know that God answered that prayer exactly when it needed to be. I had to wait, but there was a reason for the waiting. Now that's what I thought all of this was really about. But Francis said something very interesting, and the idea that, we think we're waiting for the Lord, but really the Lord is waiting for us. He's waiting for us to return. He's sitting patiently waiting. And he says in the Gospel of John, this is the will of the one who sent me, that I will not lose anything of what he gave me, but that I would raise it on the last day. We have a God who pursues us and waits for us to return. What I didn't also get was in that year, part of my conversion was being able to forgive certain people in my life. And I wasn't ready to let go of that. But until I was ready, and I got to a point on that retreat where Lord, I need to forgive these people, and I choose to forgive. That's when the floodgates of grace were open. So my point is that as much as we were waiting on Christmas and at Christmas for the coming of Christ, it is God who also waits for us. He waits for us to drop that sense of pride we have, to drop the anger, to let go of the unforgiveness, to let go of that sense of unworthiness because we're sinners, or that sense because we have brokenness or addictions or what have you. It is God who says, come to me and give this to me, let it go. It's a beautiful way to remember that God never has given up on any of us. God chooses to wait because he loves us. He came here not to condemn us, but to save and restore us. So as we prepare for the next couple of days, 10 days or so, for the remembrance of Jesus' birthday Christmas Day, let us remember that not only are we waiting for Christ, but he's also waiting for us. He's waiting for us to approach him, to come to him, so that he may love us and cherish us. I wish you all a good last 10 days of Advent, and God bless you, and I love you a lot.